Welcome to Small Business, Big Network, the podcast for small business owners who want big results from their networking. I'm Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist who knows that if you're not working, then networking could help. Evelyn Irwin is the owner of Lucky Lark, a content creation and marketing business that specialises in helping wellness-based businesses. She says that when it comes to networking, it's best to have some consistency and keep going to the same groups so that you can get to know people. Otherwise, they'll just forget you. Thank you very much for being my guest on the podcast today, Evelyn.
Thank you for inviting me, Liz.
Now, you work in the content creation and marketing space, but have you always worked in this sector? What's your training and your previous roles been?
So I'd originally wanted to get into graphic design, but where I still wasn't sure fully whether to go into that, I did the CIM diploma in UCA Rochester to help me decide what to do.
Yeah.
And I did a brief stint with animation, but I worked out that still wasn't right.
Yeah.
So whilst I was deciding, I asked my dad if I could work full-time in the family business where I originally worked part-time, so that I could gain some life skills, but also work out along the way what I wanted to do.
Yeah. And what was the family business?
So this is engineering based and it's commercial catering equipment, sales, service and repairs.
Right. So that sounds quite a long way from what you're doing now.
Yes, but in a way I'm glad that I've been able to balance the different kinds of work I can do, because I think it's all well and good to be an expert in one field, but if you don't know enough about all the many other jobs that others do, and if you don't have experience in those, you don't get the same appreciation for them, and you don't have the same reactability in case you want to expand your own repertoire and just work out what else you can do in your own life.
Yeah. And I think any job that you do, you learn transferable skills, don't you, that you can use in your next role.
Yeah, and you learn that in every industry there are different customers, there are different methods, different ways of working, and you can pick up and change different methods in both jobs, which I've been working out the differences between, where I'm working part-time there again at the family business, and now I'm working part-time on my own business, just thinking, there's a whole different way of organising this, of communicating with people, of saving different automated tasks. And I really do find it surprising how there are people who frequently change jobs to do the same work at different companies, yet they seem to be more favoured than those who choose to stay in one place longer and then gain more knowledge about the business and industry, where you'd think that they'd be a bit more favoured and a bit more appreciated.
Yeah. So what was it that attracted you to marketing in particular? What's made you go down that route?
Well, when I was young, I was typically very easily persuaded, more to the point where I didn't even understand why. And I didn't realise how much of it was based on marketing when I got older. And it actually started where I originally wanted to do singing as a career when I was younger, and listening to all these artists thinking, wow, they're so great at singing, and then getting older and thinking, I feel like in some way I'm doing better than them. And I've done training with ABRSM to get singing grades 2 to 5, and I originally did this to get into my chosen secondary school. But then the more I got to understand the way marketing works and the way that things are marketed in general, you can see that it's not the talent that people are so well loved for, it's the way that they've found the right space and timing, and the way they've been displayed and advertised to people, that people seem to like them more rather than choose at their own accord. And it got me to really snap out of that way of blindingly choosing things just because people know how to get it right in front of your face.
Yeah, I think we all succumb to the spell of marketing, don't we, in one way or another?
Yeah, because they convince you that they're doing you a favour
Mm.
when the truth is you're the one that's doing them a favour
Yes.
by buying from them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So why did you decide to set up your own business?
So I decided to set up my own business because, again, my dad has suggested the idea to me, which
Mm.
I'd said it's always been an idea, but I just didn't think I'd had enough experience with doing so. But where I was job hunting, I'd get questions by interviewers saying, "Why have you done so many different jobs in your current business?" And I've said, "Because it's the family business and you have to be
Yeah.
reactable and you need to be able to respond
Yeah.
where things are in emergency situations, like, in our job there'll be care homes, there'll be private schools without food otherwise,
Mm.
if we don't respond in that way, if we don't get every department running. And I realised that it may not be such a scary idea with being an entrepreneur, because I have done so many different jobs anyway,
Yeah.
that it'll be a better way to learn to market myself, because otherwise I wouldn't get as many chances to do so anyway if I decided to become an employee elsewhere. So I thought
Mm.
I'll do this part time, learn how to market myself better, learn how to just build up my social life again a bit more, and just learn a different way of working and get some more, I want to say free time, but just time to explore other things in my life besides doing the normal 9 to 5
Yeah.
work and then running by that schedule.
Yeah. And how did you come up with the name Lucky Lark?
Because you make your own fun and you make your own luck. I also wanted to use a mascot, which I'd been looking up bird names because I'm obsessed with birds anyway. And I worked out larks, or skylarks, they are the only UK bird to sing and hover at the same time, which
Yeah.
is the kind of message that you want for your business in
Yeah.
general. You want it to be seen and heard, not just one or the other, because that's what gets you noticed. And yeah, I like the ideal that you make your own luck and you create your own fun, and your business deserves to be seen and heard, and I'd love to help you find your voice and take flight.
Yeah, I love that. So tell me about what you do
Thank
for your
you.
clients. What services do you offer?
So I do content writing, marketing, and management, which can go from social media posts to blogs and articles. I can do some infographics as well if required, and also e-newsletter content.
Mm.
At the moment, these are the main things to what I can
Hmm.
offer. But at the same time, I'm still exploring other avenues which I could add later on,
Yeah.
where I'm still in a new business, and I've done elements of these anyway in my main job. Like, I've done some segments of SEO and just working out something a bit more solid that I can offer, but also still being open to saying I could do this if needed,
Yes.
depending on the client and how long
Yeah.
I've known them for.
Yeah. So who are your clients? Do you like to work with people in a particular sector?
So my aim is to work with businesses that are driven by one or more of the 8 dimensions of wellness,
Mm.
and these include emotional, physical, occupational, social, spiritual, intellectual, environmental, and financial.
And why did you decide to concentrate on sort of wellness as a whole?
Because wellness is most often prioritised last rather than
Mm.
first, when it's what they should be leading their lives by in general. Otherwise, you're doing too many things out of fear instead of love, like choosing things to run away from rather than what you want to run towards. And that will help you both in your business life, in your personal life, and it can make you a happier, more well rounded, resilient individual.
Yeah. And where are your clients? Are they local to you, or does it not matter to you where your clients are based?
Well, I'm starting with Kent based clients because I'm also based in Kent,
Mm-hmm.
and at my at the family business, all our clients are based in Kent anyway. So I thought that'd be a good starting point, but I'm hoping to expand further afield. I have done some work for clients outside of Kent, both in the family business and in Lucky Lark, but I'd be open to working outside of the UK when the right time comes for it. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I'm not prioritising that at the moment
Yeah.
because it's still a new business and I've still got more things to work out before I go there.
Yeah. So what kind of problems do your clients come to you with? What are they asking you to do for them?
Well, a lot of time I don't know how to communicate things in simple terms,
Mm.
get to the point quick enough, to condense things properly, and just really understand how good their brand really is. I think, and this can happen to anyone, they can lose zest for their brand
Mm.
where they're just kind of going through the motions of talking about it, but they're not realizing this is how they're marketing it. So even to people that already know it, and I'd like to help them again bring the joy back into their business and just to really highlight the fact that what they can offer and what they do offer is worth it, and that again there's always room for improvement, but it's always worth celebrating what you can do a bit more than what you can currently offer.
Yeah. And so what difference do you find it makes to the business after they've worked with you?
I find that they get an outside perspective on what they originally wouldn't have considered. They get to see different ways of communicating messages that weren't successful enough in the way they were originally communicating them, and they get to do a deep dive into something without getting drowned in it, if you
Mm-hmm.
see what I mean. You want to find out enough information without getting too overwhelmed with it, that you get scared of it and think, oh, I'm too overwhelmed, I'm not going to go back to it, where you want to become interested in it, but also just being honest with, you're going to get, some things you don't like about it with what you do like, but the reason you want to stay is because the things that you do like far outweigh the things that you won't always
Mm-hmm.
like about it. If you want to, it's things like, if you want to write a really good piece of content, you also have to be willing to put up with the thought process, the long amounts of time, all the questions that come with it as well.
Yeah. Do you have any favourite parts of your business? What are the things that you like doing the best?
Um, I don't have an exact favourite part, but I think what I'm enjoying the most so far is how I'm able to condense segments of therapeutic advice into the social media posts that I'm doing on my own LinkedIn,
Mm.
because I've had my own different therapy over the years. I've had counselling, CBT, EMDR, and even hypnosis,
Mm.
which I understand it isn't an affordable option for everyone, but
Yeah.
also it's hard to commit to. But I was so interested in it that I was willing to give up many other aspects of my life to learn more about it
Yeah.
throughout these sessions, being, let's say, a customer, but also just an avid learner of it. And yeah, I think everyone deserves to know a bit more about it without having to pay extortionate prices. It's the same with healthy eating. I
Mm.
know things that are healthier foods can be a bit more expensive, but they're not too much more expensive. And if you're filling your body with junk too much, you're kind of just paying interest in something that is going to go wrong for you
Mm.
mentally, physically in the future, that you can't get back.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you say, the health is so important, isn't it? You've got to look after yourself, especially if you're just one person running your own business.
Yeah, because also you need to remember to get an outside perspective on what you're doing, because when you're the boss, you feel like you can get the permission to say, oh, because I'm the boss, I don't need someone else to tell me. But I love being told when I'm wrong. I used to be scared of it when I was young, but now I love it, because again, making mistakes isn't the problem. The problem's when you don't correct them, and criticism isn't being mean. It means you're good enough to improve. Otherwise, people wouldn't make that effort with you.
Yeah, like that. So let's have a chat about networking now. How do you like to network for your business?
I haven't done so much networking recently because I've been trying to solidify the branding a bit more, but I'm realising the benefit of going to the same networking events in a similar schedule, because I used to think that you'd only need to go to those once and then people would think, okay, I'll keep your name and number. But then realising the amount of people that they would see, that you have to build that relationship with them. And it's much easier than I thought it would be in that way, because again, I almost didn't expect people to want to speak with me so much and to connect with me the way that they have done, which I appreciate so much. But I can tell you about the first networking event I went to, if you'd like to know, because that's quite a funny story.
Yes, please.
So I was unsuccessfully job hunting. You know, I'd worked with someone on my CV. I'd even been trained on how to do interviews, and it still wasn't working. There was still rejection, to the point where I thought, I'm willing to do anything else besides this. I'm so worn down by it that I have to do something else. So I went to the marketing meetup in Ashford in March 2023, and again, the lack of success with job hunting meant I just didn't have any room for fear towards it, when usually I would have thought, no, I can't do it. I thought, I've got to do it, or else I am going to go insane with so much different kinds of rejection. But I learned how to network in general and observe rather than expect an exact outcome from it, because it isn't a sales event, it's a tell event where you talk with people. And again, I was amazed at how many people wanted to connect with me, because it made me think, you know, I'm feeling the worst about myself that I felt in a long time. I was just desperate for an outside opinion to say, yeah, you're not as worthless as you think. It's just many people's different opinions. It's about getting an exact match rather than you're just not a good enough employee or worker in general. And again, it's not personal, it's just about being an equal and right fit with the company and a person.
Yeah. So how would you say that networking has helped your business?
I think the best part of how it's helped is I've managed to gain many great friendships from it, which you definitely need when you work alone a lot of the time. And again, there are so many valuable insights I've learned just from speaking with people, thinking, oh, I'd need to pay for all of this advice, when again, the truth is you're already kind of paying for it and being a good person to work with. And it's also been great that people have been interested in asking me about my life outside of work, because that's meant that, I'm not just the person that they work with. They actually care about who I am and what I do outside of just being a business owner. And I'm so pleased with how wrong I was about the freelancer community, because I thought there'd be more competition and there'd be again more people looking down on me because I'm still new to it. But I've had even more support than what I would have done, I think, just being an employee with some companies, because there's work out there for everyone, and everyone is suited in different ways for different aspects of that work, rather than being a one fit and not being able to ask for help elsewhere like you would have to be as an employee.
Do you have any favourite networks that you like going to?
I recommend the Creative Collective networking, because that has been a great source of support where I was able to just practice networking. Because the thing with it is, it's not something that it feels easy to say, oh, you've not done it before, so you're a bit nervous of how to do it. So you need the support aspect with, you know, a good community. Otherwise, it feels like you're being put on the spot too much. But other good networks I'd recommend are Meow Networking, Only Networking spelled ONLE, and the Kent Invicta Chamber of Commerce, which have all been very helpful to me in just teaching me who is in the network that you know, goes as much as I do, that understands, you know, the way that, again, the Kent area runs as well, because a lot of these people I've met are actually based in Kent. And yeah, again, I've had a few other experiences with other networks, and I think I'd like to recommend, sorry, I can't remember the exact name of it, Word Tonic, that's what I was thinking of. Word Tonic has been good as well, but again, these networks, they all offer something different in return.
Yeah. Now you're still quite a new business, as you've mentioned. You've been going just a bit over a year, I think.
Yeah.
If you are talking to other, you know, new startups like you, why would you recommend networking to them, and how soon would you recommend that they start networking?
I'd say start networking not as your main job, but as a background choice to the work that you would already need to do with starting your own business, because then, again, you don't have so much pressure. And also, if possible, I'd recommend doing a main job outside of starting your own business, because then you don't have to worry about the income side of it, but you're given less time to work on your business and less resources, but it will teach you what you can do without all of that, and not wasting time, and just being, you know, picky in the right ways of how you work and what you spend money on. And yeah, I'd say network consistently, of course, but not too much. I'd have just as many one-to-ones with people on their own as much as networking in big groups, because when you do too much of one or the other, you're not understanding how to network as a whole, because you don't want to know one person too much but then not get any kind of work back from that, and you also don't want to be part of too big of a group that you don't really know anyone individually as well.
There's a balance, isn't there?
Yeah.
So what plans do you have for the future of Lucky Lark? Where's it going next?
So my plans for the future are to get my website finished. Again, this has been a long process where I've been designing elements of the brand myself with some help that I've done as a service swap with someone, which is another good benefit of being a freelancer, where rather than paying money, we've paid each other in skills to help. Otherwise, yeah, I'd like to keep doing more podcasts with people. I'd like to get a proper photo shoot done for this when there's more interest in people looking at a website rather than just looking at my social media profiles. I would, again, I'd love to do more in-person networking, which I've not been able to do so much of, where it depends on how much else I'd need to get done during the day for my own business, where I'm not a full-time freelancer yet. But otherwise, yeah, just solidifying my brand and getting more confident and condensing what I'm talking about with people to be even better than what I'm already doing now.
So final question then, Evelyn. If people want to get in touch with you and find out more about your services, what's the best place for them to find you?
The best place to find me at the moment is on LinkedIn, which is my main network, which you can direct message me on there. But otherwise, you can email me at evelyn@luckylark.co.uk. But I'd like to give a tip as well, which I'm coming to terms with, is when you go on your freelance journey, don't become your own worst boss. Because I'd slipped into that habit a bit too much, where I was telling myself I have more time to work on it. But the point of being a freelancer wasn't to spend even more time not having a personal life. We're already our own worst critics, and it's better to do nothing than be busy doing nothing, which again, it's a way of reacting to discomfort, thinking that we have to move when that isn't always the case. It's being still, sitting with our thoughts and looking at them factually rather than emotionally reacting too much.
Brilliant. I love it. Thank you very much for sharing your little bit of wisdom with us,
You're
Evelyn.
welcome.
And the best of luck with Lucky Lark and your networking journey.
Thank you, Liz, and thank you again for having me.
Thanks for listening to Small Business, Big Network. If you found this podcast useful, please do rate, review and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with the rest of your network too.